Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'd like to take a look at Lotus. Was anyone aware that Lotus has actually been public? I wasn't aware of this. I was aware that they were trying to go public, but I wasn't aware that it's actually completed. I was shocked when I looked up the Lotus stock on my application and I found it. I was like, they're public already? Because it just feels like there wasn't a big deal about this stock. It really wasn't at all. And today I'd like to understand why, because the cars that they're making are actually really, really incredible. Lotus Technology, a leading global luxury electric vehicle maker. They rang the opening bell at NASDAQ in New York City to celebrate its public listing. This was February the 23rd, 2024. The company's American Deposit Share ADS commenced trading on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, LLC, NASDAQ, under the ticker symbol LOT. Closely resembles to Lotus. This is following the company's completion of its business combination on February the 22nd, 2024, with L. Carroton Asia Acquisition Corp. This is the special acquisition company. This was formed by affiliates of L. Catterton, a leading global commerce-focused investment firm. This is really incredible and really remarkable. But I feel like this public listing was completely ignored by the EV market, by the automotive market. It's as if no one noticed. And now it's apparently gotten a little bit worse because apparently the stock is not doing particularly well. But before we get into the stock, let me just say the vehicles that Lotus is producing right now, they are incredible. The Lotus Emea, the Lotus Electre, the Lotus Emira, and Lotus Evija. I'm familiar with the Evija, that's probably the easiest one to pronunciate. What beautiful cars, especially the SUV and the SUV coupe. This has a somewhat similar shape to a sedan, but it's actually kind of like an SUV coupe, Hyper GT kind of car, and it's really, really beautiful, really, really incredible. But without the proper marketing, this car will never reach its target audience. I would buy one of these cars. And I never thought I'd be a fan of Lotus, but I would genuinely buy these vehicles. And one of the reasons I sort of fell in love with Lotus is from time to time, I would hear a Lotus go by. It would just go by really quickly. And I'd just listen to the engine, I'd just listen to the exhaust, and it would sound like music. It would sound just beautiful. And I was like, oh my goodness, I never took to realize that Lotus cars sounds absolutely incredible. And now the new vehicles that are being built, they equally look beautiful and they sound incredible. I'm buying this over a McLaren any day. I also prefer the interior over a McLaren. The exterior, McLaren wins every day. Don't get me wrong, this vehicle is beautiful. Lotus does build beautiful vehicles inside and out. And the Avija is an understatement of beauty. The Avija is the understatement of beauty. Honestly, I don't even think this car is being built yet. But what does this say here? The world's pure electric British hypercar. This will be pure electric, and you can see they're taking a very different trajectory on what it is to create interior vehicles. Thank you. Get rid of some of those ugly ass screams. There's an obvious scream in front of you, but I get it. But what is this? What is this dial? I don't know if that's going to work, but they're trying something. But if this doesn't work, they should have a second option, a backup option, because I'm not sure if how well that's going to work. Maybe it will. Maybe it worked fantastic. But I like a vehicle that is designed where in 10, 20 years, I can't tell when it was built. Like the Bugatti Veyrons and Bugatti Chirons and the Bugatti Divo. Those vehicles, interior at least, they're designed in such an incredible way, it is almost impossible to tell when exactly they were built. And it was completely genius by Bugatti to do this. And what they did, they removed a lot of screams. They limit the screams to the minimum. And this helped the vehicle to age like fine wine. It just helped the vehicle to age in such a beautiful way. Seriously. If you're curious, this is the Lotus that I really, really like. I don't know, but for some reason I really like this car. The Lotus Type 62 2. Coach built by Radford Reveal. This is the Lotus that I really, 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 really like and really, really want. But I think this car is incredibly limited edition. I think this car is probably, I don't even know if it's real, but it's probably incredibly limited edition. But Lotus has an incredible history of racing. They are a multiple Formula One championship winning team. They're being known for being a strong racing team. Here's a look at Lotus stats in Formula One. They've entered over 491 races and they started over 489 starts. They've won 79 victories in Formula One. They have won 7 constructors' titles, and the driver championships are 6. Constructors' title 7, drivers' championship is 6. Remarkable. From winning in the 60s, 63, 65, 68, winning in the 70s, 70, 72, 73, and 78. But from there on, Lotus hasn't done particularly well. And they haven't been in Formula One for a very long time. But could Lotus make a return to Formula One? I know, but I think it would be good for Geely to be in Formula One with one of their brands. Polestar, Lotus. I think it would be good for Geely to be in Formula One with one of their brands. I know what you're thinking. Formula One is not electric. Not yet. Formula One will be electric someday. It will be electric eventually. By the way, what the F? Look at the beautiful color that is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You tell people that an alien designed that car, they'll probably believe you. It's just truly remarkable. Seriously. And we know it. Now let's get to some more information on the Lotus SPAC. EV maker Lotus closes up mostly in Nasdaq debut. The American Deposit shares, which began trading with the new ticker symbol LUT, ended at $13.80 after falling as low as $10.12. About 190,000 shares traded. The special purpose acquisition company closed at $13.51 on Thursday. By the way, this was the IPO day. Lotus Technology was valued at about $7 billion in worth with L. Calaton Asia Acquisition Corp. The SPAC backed by L. Calaton, it is part of the British sport car-making Lotus Group, which in turn is owned jointly by Chinese automaker Geely and Malaysian Etika Automotive. The listing came at a time when EVs are facing scrutiny in capital market. Rivian Automotive, Lucid, Polestar, they haven't been the best performance stocks on the market. They've been far from it. Lotus shares tumble 40% since the IPO as parent Geely plans world domination. Now, it's like I said, this article was from March. It's a very different story now as well. After 2 weeks, the shares on Nasdaq plummet nearly 40% from $13.80 at the listing to $8.37 at the public. This was at the time of writing this article, dipping as low as $5.75 in the following week. So in fact, it's been the latest in a string of disappointment for Chinese EV makers whose previous IPOs have been met with similar results. Shares price of Volvo Cars, Polestar, they've fallen since opening, and these previous failures likely influenced the decision of potential investors in Lotus. However, for parent Geely, it could be a worrying omen as the group tries to take even more brands public, raising funding costly electric car game. The next brand lineup for IPO is a new electric car maker, Zeekr, with documents already filed for listing on Nasdaq. But according to Sean Rain, managing director of Chinese market research group, a Shanghai consultancy, Geely's short-term outlook isn't looking like a safe bet. They don't have a strong strategic international or in China, said Rain. Speaking to Financial Times, Geely, have too many overlapping brands that just don't make sense. Apparently, this is what they're saying. The lack of interest in Lotus, a storied brand that is transitioning into electric-focused automaker, can also be attributed to growing concerns over EV demands in the West. Additionally, other makers have fared poorly after initial IPO positivity, most notably Rivian and Lucid. While I do understand some of the points that are being made in this article, there are also some inconsistencies. But this is an article. It's supposed to get people attention, so it's not always written to be based upon reality. Sometimes there's a little bit of fiction in it, and that's okay, but you have to read in between the lines. So yes, it is not easy for Geely to be, supporting these brands, these vastly different companies. but it's certainly a positive step. If electrification is indeed the future, then I applaud Geely for doing what they're doing. So it looks like they went public at 5.5 billion in valuation. That is quite steep, but you can see that they do have an offering. So it's not just a brand that has idea of what cars they want to create. No, no, no. They actually have cars available for people to purchase. Starting with these two, they actually have cars available, which is brilliant. So this is a closer look at the Lotus car stock. This is the price currently, $9.23. But if you were to take a look at the company over the last few months, this is what we're looking at, Like I said, IPO price over $14, but it quickly fell to around $5.75, which is remarkable. So currently the market cap for the company is 6.2 billion. 6.2 billion. Now, it is not as bad as I thought it was. Believe it or not, Polestar is less valuable in market cap than the Lotus company, which is bizarre to say because Polestar is doing better. And Polestar has more to offer, at least for the near future. Polestar is coming out with 2 new vehicles this year. But this is still quite interesting. So here's a new stock, a new Geely stock for us to talk about. And a positive thing, a positive takeaway is that since around April, the price have actually been plateauing around $5, $6. And since then, the start of May, it's actually been trickling back up nice and slowly. The shares outstanding are actually remarkable low. The shares are outstanding are actually quite decent at 676 million, which I believe Polestar is in a situation right now where they might have to reverse stock split because Polestar, the stock right now, is valued at less than $1 and it risks delisting. So it's not all negative for Lotus, not at all. So in terms of valuation, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was. So that's definitely a positive. So it's something that I'll definitely have to watch close, like the earnings of this company, the revenues and stuff like that. I would have to watch that closely. And the deliveries. I'd have to watch everything very closely to see if it's even worth it at this price. I think it can be a lot more cheaper. Me personally, I'm just saying that I think it can be a lot more cheaper. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Leave a comment. I will see you in the next video. Subscribe to our newsletter, our EV newsletter. There's a link in the description. See you in the next one. Peace.